goddamn son of a cyborg bitch! So, I guess Sean can add another loss then? Kind of ironic you wanted Wally to lose the last fight. Hey, don't worry, it'll be okay. DC will be pissing off fans with their winning streaks soon enough. Kuma? Shut the fuck up. Let's start the review. God, I think sometimes you do this to piss me off. Hello, fellow knights! Welcome to SaberComics, your place for all things review. And today, we're taking a look at the newest death battle between Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. One of the longest requested fights going all the way back to Season 1. But it's not just that. This will also be the second fight to be done completely in live action by my boys at Izumahawk. So, by now, you should already know how I like to do things in my reviews, but just in case if you don't, here you go. I focus less on the research and analysis portion of Death Battle, mainly because they either no longer intrigue me or entertain me. But most of it's the latter half. None of the jokes are funny in the least, nor does Boomstick's banter with Wiz remotely come off as knee-slapping as the previous seasons, but rather just cringy, especially with them adding a damn depressed robot whose gimmick is being depressed. We instead discuss the voice acting, story, animation, and score to determine if the episodes are high enough for an A+ or low enough for a C-. Now that the intros and jokes are done, let's go ahead and get into this second live-action death battle and see if it managed to one-up Nightwing versus Daredevil. Sean Dearbud, roll those transitions. It's gonna seem a little one-sided, but we'll get to that later. First up, returning to Death Battle to play the Winter Soldier is my man Tyler, who I felt in the previous episode actually did a good job portraying Matt Murdock, nailing those lines and mouth emotions Charlie Cox managed to pull off in the Netflix series. Here, though, Bucky doesn't have many lines when it comes to the fighting. Just a couple in the end shot, which is a little disappointing, as Bucky may have been a serious fighter from time to time, but he's not completely lacking in any banter. Yeah, maybe this is probably my bias of Tyler's past work as 17. I'm expecting to see a lot more of his range these days whenever I do see him pop up in something like this. However, I'll say he did a fantastic job with the choreography, arguably more so, seeing as how Bucky fights and moves a lot more differently than Matt did. He also managed to capture that eerie look of the Winter Soldier as well in the episode. Legit, there was some chills running down my spine when he owned some of these scenes. I really loved everything about his performance in this, even if it was rather silent and more action-focused. That really doesn't matter. Great job, Tyler. On to Jason Todd, aka the best performance of this whole episode. Now, unfortunately, my wish wasn't granted, as just like last time how Danny managed to come back to reprise his role as Nightwing, I was hoping they would do the same with Noel to come back and reprise his role as the Red Hood again. Alas, that really didn't happen. But instead, we got Tim, who's actually a movie and TV stunt coordinator. And funny enough, he actually did the stunt choreography for 3 comic book shows, those being Gotham, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Netflix's Punisher. But last year, he also had a huge acting role in The Irishman. Yeah, Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. So, essentially what we were given in this was a perfect Red Hood. Tim had the raw energy, the witty charm, and the anger we have come to love from the second Robin. The interactions he had with Bruce in the beginning felt so real and tense as you can sense their past history with one another. Later on, it even gets better when we see his PTSD with the Joker. Both of these played brilliantly by Kareem. Go check him out. When Bucky picked up a convenient crowbar in Jason's lair. The moment really made me connect and emphasize with Jason even more, feeling so bad for him and wanting him to actually win despite the fact that I knew he was kind of in a losing battle. The acting has improved greatly since the last time we saw the first live-action battle, and Danny's direction for this episode just made it all come together so well. Holy shitballs, this action was way more better than, well, obviously. It flowed so much more smoothly. Nothing felt rushed or out of place. All of the fun that these two had in the one location, it's tight. All of the gunplay, the knife fights, Bucky picking up the crowbar, Jason and Bucky using their stealth, the brawling whenever Jason gets injected with venom, and finally the hand-to-hand combat. All of these complemented each other so well, but also just showing how different these two are, but yet somehow evenly matched they are in their styles. We also gotta talk about the camera work, because, oh my god, everything was focused on the characters. Nothing took them off of the screen. The shots that we got just could be used for the thumbnail alone. Ismahawk has always gone above and beyond for their craft, but Winter Soldier vs. Red Hood just might be their newest magnum opus. Please, everyone, I beg you, go down and give them some love. They deserve it for how they put this all together to give us arguably one of, if not the best live-action fights we have had so far. And this is only the second one! So I'm sure a lot of you would have preferred that this fight would have been the one to finally take place in a street. However, due to budget reasons, I assume, we had to get it in an abandoned restaurant, which also conveniently serves as Jason's hideout. Disappointing as that sounds, in 6 minutes, we managed to see just how this environment screams Jason Todd, but also how it's not as restricting as the car garage in the very first live-action fight we had. The lighting also makes it pop off of the camera. There's a particular shot where the combatants move towards the kitchen, and you get a beautiful teal blue look that just makes the costumes and the cinematography look and feel like a professional fan film. If I had just one little nitpick, maybe two, it was that as amazing and beautiful as this environment was, and obviously better than the first environment we got, it was just not well utilized. What I mean by that is there was nothing in the environment that the combatants were using. For example, like, have them use utensils at each other. Maybe have them use pots, pans, I don't know, really just anything. it was kind of a letdown that the only thing that was utilized in this was, unfortunately, the crowbar. Now, instead of talking or using Nightwing vs. Daredevil as an example, let's go ahead and use the superpower beatdown between the Punisher and the Red Hood. Both of them are fighting in a tight outside area, but Jason manages to use the trash for cover. He jumps off of it, or even uses the walls to get away from Frank's grip. But once they enter into a warehouse, that's where there's so much more space and liberty for Jason to move around instead of being contained by Frank. However, the Punisher just takes advantage of a table that he smashes Jason into. Jason even manages to grab a screwdriver to try and stab Frank with. If we had more of those, then I guarantee you that this fight location would have been even more better. Hell, even the end death is kind of unfortunately a letdown as, well, yeah, it is leagues better than, once again, Nightwing vs. Daredevil, but I don't think it's ever going to stick with me when I look back and rank it among the best deaths of this season. Let's go back to Jason versus Frank Castle again, but instead of me telling you why this end death works, let me show you. And for those of you that have light stomachs, just go ahead and skip to the very end so you can see my ranking, if that makes you feel better. I rest my case. Oh God. Oh God. I think I'm gonna throw up. Oh God. Oh God, it's everywhere! Cap, we need the mop! No, not the sex stain mop! The mouse cookie mop! Anyway, despite me choosing Jason because of my bias for him, this was still a fantastic episode in my opinion that set the live action bar pretty high for all future episodes, and I hope they can deliver in the future. Because Winter Soldier vs. Red Hood gave us great acting, fantastic action, beautiful cinematography, on-point costumes, and a dope-looking set. As such, I'm going to go ahead and give this a B+. All for watching this. If you enjoyed, then please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, you think you want to stick around, then hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. And comment down below what you thought of this episode. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, or if you didn't, then please try and be civil about it. Also, I am on Twitter, so you can follow me, and I have just recently created an Instagram account. So go ahead, hit me up there if you want to see what's going on. And until then, I'll see you all for the next one. May my reign last for an eternity.
Be Krona from Soul Eater versus Venom. What?
Venom's gonna die. Oh no.